Welcome back to a brand new episode of Monster Programming. In today's episode, I want to do something that I haven't done before, and that is create an entire game and publish it on the App Store entirely using ChatGPT. Now, I have a lot of knowledge in game development and app development. I have a few apps on the App Store, but today I don't want to use any of that. I just want to use ChatGPT entirely. So I have the subscription, ChatGPT5, and I want it to be an iOS app. So all I'll ask ChatGPT is to create a very simple game, fun, interesting, whatever. I want it to be done in SwiftUI, and I want to be able to publish it on the App Store. I don't want to do anything myself, so that includes things like the app icon, the launch screen, the actual gameplay, and then I also want a description for the app as well. Now, I think this might be a bit of a long video. Eventually, I will have to obviously log in and do some stuff on my own, but I want the entire development itself to be done by ChatGPT. Without further ado, let's get started straight away. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and all I'll ask is, I'm not even going to give it an idea for a game. I want it to come up with it entirely. I want you to create me. So this is the prompt that I'm going to go with. It's very simple. It's simply, I want you to create me an iOS game that can be either embedded in Xcode or be built using Swift and SwiftUI. I want the game to be very simple, but also be very fun, and I want it to include some unique elements that might not exist in other games. And the whole idea of why I'm doing this, I just want to see how easy it is to actually publish and come up with ideas. And developers get annoyed from that for some reason, but if a tool or a technology like ChatGPT, for example, makes building things much easier, that is a great thing. And so I don't want to give very specific details on how I want this to work. I want it to be as if someone who has never programmed before manages to go to ChatGPT and start building things. So straight away, the response is awesome. Let's build a tiny, fresh feeling iOS game you can drop straight into Xcode. It's a SpriteKit game wrapped in SwiftUI with 3 quirky twists. Okay, so SpriteKit is the kit used within the iOS environment to develop games. So again, I know this, but you don't have to actually know in order to use it because it's building it for us. So it's telling us that there's 3 quirky twists. The first one is slow-mo. Your microphone volume controls time. Quiet a room or a whisper slows the world. Louder noise speeds that back up. Rune shield. Draw a quick swipe rune on screen to pop a 3-second shield. Near missile haptics. You get a satisfying buzz when you narrowly dodge an enemy. That sounds pretty cool. So these are the controls, which is great. And then it's saying that below is a single Swift file you can pass into a SwiftUI project, iOS 16 plus. It has no external assets. Everything is procedural. You can also embed the game view in any other SwiftUI screen. So I'll show you how we can do that. So this actually still means that you need iOS knowledge and at least how to start a project, which is fine. We'll go ahead with that. Saying what you'll get: tilt to move your orb, gyro, enemy spawn and home in on you, whisper to slow time, use the mic input level, draw a fast swipe to trigger a shield, haptics on near misses and hits, 1 file, easy to tweak. And then it tells you add this to a new SwiftUI project. So let's do this. So I'm going to follow it exactly the same. So let's go ahead and do that. I've got Xcode. So what I'll do is I'll launch Xcode. We'll click on create new project, app, iOS, and then you select app, next. And let's give it a name. I'm just going to call it AI game for now. This is not the name of your project. This is just the name of the folder or the directory. You can change that name anytime. Like, it's not the name of your app, basically. Interface SwiftUI. And again, see, I don't know if, like, I'm setting all this stuff manually because I know it. I'm assuming this would be an easy part, but what I want to do is I really want to see if this will work or not. So I'm going to click on next. I'll save it under my projects and click create. And here we go. So I want to break down what it said here. So it's saying what you need to do is create a new project. We did. Add the second step straight away is add microphone user description. And it's saying in your targets info, go to custom iOS target properties and add the following. Now, believe it or not, this is actually a very hard thing. It shouldn't be, but it actually is. And I'll show you why, because we basically, what we want to do is we want to be able to add this permission. We want the app to request permission from the user to use the microphone, because you don't want any app to just be able to use the microphone. So Apple limits it that you have to actually request it, which is a great thing. Now, to request it, what you need to do is, and let's say you're someone who has never programmed anything before, this can be very difficult. But what you'll need to do is you'll need to go click over here. You'll need to go to info. I actually, a lot of the times I do get confused. Custom iOS target properties. Let's see, yep, over here, and add the following. So let's have a look at how we can actually add this. See, I'm not too sure. How do we add it? Because there's no plus. Supported interfaces, application scene manifest. This happens to me every single time. And I actually want to specifically include this in the video. Like, I don't want to speed it up, because I want you to see that even if you get it to do the actual file, stuff like that ends up being actually very difficult. So it's saying add microphone usage description in your targets info. Okay, so we are in our targets over here. It's saying go to custom iOS target properties, which I'm here, info, and then custom iOS target properties, and then add. Now, surely you don't just add it under a different key. This always happens. So let's have a look. Build settings. Maybe he. Oh, I think he. See, so ChatGPT can be wrong. Let's explain this. And I think I already know what it's wrong about. So we need to look for microphone usage description. So let's have a look at where that can be. So be probably under privacy. Oh, there we go. There we go. So see how it's told us to go to target info and then custom iOS target. That's not actually where I went. So I went to build settings and then I found it over here, and it would be called something different. Now it's giving us at least the value. And we need to copy this, we need to paste it, because when the app is asking for permission, we want the user to receive something, some useful or an actual valuable reasoning to why we're using their mic. In this scenario, we can just say used to enable quiet to slow motion gameplay. And I'm gonna come over here and I'll also give it a reason. So this is for debugging. Oops. And this is for release. So this is only when I'm testing it on my phone, this message will show up, or to other developers. The release, this one will just be when we actually release the game. This is the messages or the request information message. So we have that. Now here it's saying for number 3, replace your app name app.swift contents, or just add this as a new file and set content view to game view. So here's what it's asking us. Basically, every time you start an iOS project, you get this content view file. And what it did over here, so basically what content view is let me go ahead and actually show you the canvas. I want to show you how this looks like. So just give it a second to load. See, this is your app. And this is some code. And every time you change it, something here is going to change that reflects that. For example, you can see it says, it's very simple. It says VStack, which means lay things vertically on top of each other. And then again, very straightforward, it says image. So you see that the image is at the top because we said let's lay it on top of each other. And then we said layer image and then text. So you have the image and then text. And if I come over here and write another text, you'll see that it adds more text. Now there's actually like so many things that you can add. You can add buttons, labels, icons, images, whatever you think of, you can definitely add it over here. And what we can do is two things here to embed this. The first thing is that ChatGPT is telling us that we can copy this entire file and paste it over here, and then embed that file within the existing view over here. So remove this and then say that we want to show that view. Or something else that we can do is that we can actually just copy this entirely and just paste it inside of content view. To keep things cleaner, I tend to lean towards creating another file and then embedding it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do it. You can see this is actually the code for the game. So let's do this. Let's expand this so we have more room to play with. And it's called game view, by the way. So let's come over here. I'm going to right click. I'll click new file from template. SwiftUI view. I'll click next. And inside of here, I'll call it game view, like this. So now we've got this file here that says game view. Now, before I embed the game, I just want to explain what we're doing here. So now we have two different views. We've got the content view, which has these three elements now, the two text and the image that we just created together. And then we've got game view. Now I'm going to be pasting all the code from ChatGPT inside all the code here inside of game view. But before that, I want to show you why we're doing this. So this allows us, so let's come here and I'm just going to say this is game view. See how this is a screen on its own? Well, we can actually embed that screen inside of a different screen and make it cleaner. So to do this, all I need to do is copy this name. Let's go back and we can remove this entire thing and instead paste that screen. So I'm saying I want to show the screen instead. And now look at what happened. This is game view. It's showing whatever we're going to put here. If we put an image here, it's going to reflect on the other page. So now the reason I did this is because we can simply copy this now. And we can come over here. And hopefully we don't get any errors, but I'm going to paste this. We're not getting any errors so far. Okay, we're actually, seems like we're actually doing well. Let's go back to our content view and see. I don't think it might, yeah, it might not be able to load, and we are actually now getting errors. Let's have a look. So it says, all right, so see how we're now getting some errors. Main. Okay, the errors are gone. That doesn't actually usually happen. Anyways, so we don't have any errors. This works straight away. Well, it's not showing any errors straight away. But what we can do now is we can actually run this project and see how our game looks like. Now, it's saying that it didn't need any external assets or anything else for this to run. Like we didn't need to download any images or anything like that. I'm actually I'll be very impressed if it would just work straight away. And we're gonna test that right now together. Just let's have a look at the final information here. It's saying make any enemy split after being shield popped, daily challenge seeds, combo meter, run variants. If you want, I can add a scoreboard, sound effects, non-mic, theme colors, or convert the rune into recognizable shapes. Let's have a look at what this looks like because we still have no idea. So what I'll do now is I'll run it on the simulator so I can still show it on the screen, and we'll have a look at it together for the first time. So I'm going to click play, and it failed. Let's have a look at why it's failing. So usually it does show me what the errors are. Okay, so it's not working. Let's clean the build folder. Okay, so that is weird because and let's build. Oh, okay. So main attribute can. Let's go ahead and remove this. I think that was causing issues, but see, you wouldn't know. And to be honest, maybe I don't know as well. Yeah, okay. So I think it's because we had a duplicate here. So again, even though we did copy this exactly, there will still be some errors. So that's why you need still some knowledge. So now it succeeded. So I can't say I developed this game, but you still need some knowledge at least in order for this to be able to work. So now what's happening is that there's a simulator on one of my screens here. And that simulator will now actually run the game and we'll be able to see, okay. It seems like I died already. So it's saying tilt to move, whisper to slow time, swipe fast to cast a shield, avoid the red orbs, survive as long as you can. Let's click start. Tap to restart. Okay, so wow, okay, it's actually not working. So it does look pretty cool, but the app actually crashed. So let's run this again, just so that we see what's happening. Okay, so what is happening is that it's not working, and when I click on it to restart, it's actually giving us an error. Oh, I think I know. It's because it tried to use the mic, and for some reason, let's have a look at this. Hello. Okay. I actually don't know why it's crashing. So again, let's ask ChatGPT. And whoever made it so that you cannot copy the entire thing, I don't know why. So let's go to ChatGPT and we'll say the game runs, however, I get this error when I die and I try to restart. So let's let that one run. Now I do have a suspicion that because I'm using a simulator and the app requires phone movement, it might not work, but it definitely shouldn't crash regardless. Oh wait, actually I have an idea. What happens if I do click on the screen? Okay, yeah. So as soon as I click on the screen, it crashes. Proposing game reset solution. So this will try to figure it out. In the meantime, what I'll do is I'm actually gonna stop. Oh, okay. You hear this because I reset your code, did move to again and try to play. So first of all, I'm actually gonna make it work with Xcode. And what that does is that now it can actually just make the changes for me. So let's move forward with option A, apply it in Xcode. So now all you need to do is you just need to click apply. And I'm assuming the changes are made. All right, now let's restart it. So now the error shouldn't happen. Now I couldn't move. I think that's because I can't tilt the phone. But okay. So, okay, I was trying to see if it would do anything. All right, so I'm not crashing, which is great. So this is actually pretty good. We're reaching a stage where we've got things moving, we've got a game, but we cannot move it. Now, again, I think that is only because we're using the simulator. So what I'll do now is, let me see if I can add a different camera and instead run this on my phone and see how we go. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. There we go. So now whatever's on my phone, you'll be able to see. So what I'll do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select my phone. Now we need to come here and we need to go general. Again, see, these are all the issues that might happen if you're trying to use AI to actually develop things. So something as simple as this saying 18.5, but my phone doesn't have 18.5 as the iOS. This will cause issues. So instead, all I need to do is come here and just click any iOS that's slower than the one I have. And now that becomes easier or better, sorry. Also, there we go. So now I can come here and I can click on this. And what it should do is that it should start adding this app on my phone, this game. So you should be able to see it in a second here. Okay, so see that message that showed up? That's the one that we added at the beginning. So I'm going to click allow and I'll click start, restart. Oh, whoa. Okay, it's working. It's working. All right. So it is actually working. And let me just show you. So I'm going to click on restart and you'll see me moving my phone in order for this to work. So you can see. Okay, it's actually pretty fun. Okay, so you can actually slow time. I'm trying to, it said whisper. Okay, so it works. You can actually slow down time if you make a low volume. If you are in a loud volume, it speeds up. If you slow it speeds up again. So depending on the volume of where you are and the tilt of my phone, you can see that it is moving. And you obviously can't feel this, but as the balls are starting to approach my red ball, what happens is that the phone is actually vibrating, and it's not vibrating like crazy, but it is tapping on top of it. Okay, so as I'm staying quiet, it's slow. But if I go loud, you can see that it does get much quicker, which is pretty funny. And yeah, I actually think this is a really fun game. I'm happy to try and publish this. So this is how that works so far. So we know it works, so I'm not going to keep testing it. So let me switch cameras again so we have a better view. And let's go ahead and actually continue working on this. I want to create a logo. I want to create a description. And let's see if we can actually get to publish this. But so far we managed to actually produce the game. It works. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It works. It uses mic. You showed it, you've seen it, asking for the allow, and it actually has pretty cool and simple graphics. So you managed to see how it works with the simulator, and you managed to see how it works on my phone, which I think was pretty impressive. Like, I think it was pretty cool. So it's AI game, it's over here, and we can see that it works. And in order for it to work, it cannot be tested on a simulator. And the reason for that is because it uses the gyroscope of the phone for the ball to move. And also some of the features that we have in the app is the microphone, which the simulator does not have. And it also has the haptic feedback. So as the red balls are approaching, it will also start tapping it at the back. So now what I want to test is a few things. Hey, it's okay for it to start straight away, where I'm happy with that. Restart is also fine. And the overall seconds is also great. Now, something that I want to add is an app icon. So it's a very simple thing. So let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT for this. And the reason this is a good test is because I want to see if it can actually pick up or not on what it created. Would it be able to create a logo that actually reflects what this game is about? So let's have a look. So I'll say, great work. Now, can you please create me an app icon based on the game design? And I want to see if it will be able to understand what it created, maybe understand the dark features of the app or the game that we created, and then based on that create a logo that also resembles that style. I don't think we'll actually be able to do it. We're gonna have a look. So should be an image, and just to show you, so if you go to assets, an app icon, this is how you add an app icon. It's meant to be in here, very similar to this. Seems like it is creating it, which is great. So once this is ready, all you actually need to do is just drag it and drop it here. So it seems like you can actually well, okay, the design already looks pretty cool. And by the way, I'm not sure if we created this entirely from scratch. Let me know in the comments if this is something that actually does not exist. Thinking I'm looking in the right direction. Okay, great. Okay, so the app icon seems like it will look great. Let me, before I forget, make sure we switch to the simulator. And that way we can test the other features. So I wonder if I can just drag that straight away. Yes, I can. Amazing. Now we are getting app icon. All right, that's fine for now. So for some reason I made it 800 by 800, but it should be 1024. So let's run this and have a look if the app icon is updated. And we're actually getting an error, which I'm not sure what it is. The stickers icon set or app icon set name did not have. Okay, so I actually do think it needs to be like that. So what I can do is we can either ask ChatGPT to do this for us, or download icon. Or we can change it directly here. So again, it's all this stuff that seems like there is still a lot of work that you need to do, which is fair enough for this to work. So let's adjust size. And it is. Okay, so maybe it's just when it's in ChatGPT that it doesn't show the correct... Okay, that works. So on the ChatGPT version itself, like in the app, it did not show the correct format. I think they just load it in a smaller view, but when you download it, it downloads fully. And again, all we're testing this time is to see if it updated. And I actually really do like oh, we forgot. So I think, yeah, you can see the shield being created. Can you? All right, anyways, you can see that the app icon did change when we added this, so that's great. So far ChatGPT actually created the app icon and, well, the game itself with all its features, which is great. Now I want to change the name, and to do that, let's go ahead to ChatGPT and I wanted to ask, can you think of cool names for this game? Okay, so here are some cool names: Echo Dodger, Silent Shield, Whisperbound, Resonance Run, The Quiet Survivor. Okay, I'm actually going to call it Whisperbound. So to do this, you'll need to come over here and you'll need to change this to Whisperbound. Now, before you can publish any game on the App Store, there's a few things that you need to do. First, our game does not support Apple Vision or Mac or even iPad, for a matter of fact. So what we need to do is we need to come over here. We need to remove iPad, Mac, and Apple Vision. It only supports iPhone. And we can actually support iOS's up to 17, So I'm going to put 17.0, just like this. And app category, it is a game. So I'll just put it on the games. Now, over here, bundle identifier, that's your own sort of ID. And for version, it's version 1.0. Build, it's 1. Now, again, this stuff that ChatGPT is not going to set for you. You need to know what it needs to be in order for this to work. And for the deployment info, orientation needs to be portrait. Our app does not support landscape. It needs to be in portrait because it's it actually changed, like if it uses the gyroscope. So because it uses the gyroscope, you don't want the app to change if you flip it, because it's expected that the user is going to flip it without them wanting the view to change. So you only set it up to portrait, for example. Now, status bar, I always uncheck this. And app icon, we already have that set. And now if we run it again, so right now it says AI game, but if I get out of this, it will say Whisperbound. So the name of that ChatGPT came up with. So this was the first part of this video. You can see that we created the entire app in 35 minutes. We created the game. It runs perfectly on mobile. So the gyros was being picked up, the mic was being picked up, the vibrations, I wish you can feel it, and the shields were being picked up. We created an app icon and an app name. In less than 35 minutes, we managed to create that. Now, again, I cannot show it to you here, but now I would see if we do flip it. So if the user's flipping it, you can see that the app does not change views. You can have it in any view. It will still be as if you're holding it right. And that's because it's one of those apps where you're meant to be shaking the phone and moving it. So I don't want the app to change view if someone is doing that, because they will be doing that. Thanks so much for watching. So I actually did not expect this video to be this long. I thought we will not be able to create this app and we're just gonna laugh or make fun of ChatGPT, but we managed to do it. We did create a game very quickly on. 36 minutes is a very short period of time for the game we created. If we were to do it manually, it will take much longer than that, but we did it in 36 minutes. Majority of that time was because we were trying to connect the cameras. So great job. In the next video, I'll actually be showing you how we can publish this app onto the App Store, and we'll publish it together. We'll make sure it is actually published on the games, and you can go and download it on your iPhone or iPod if you still have iPods, and in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.